We now continue with Smurf.
This happened to me back when I was still in NATO, when I was a grunt. I was around 22 years old at the time. I was stationed in the Tuzla sector in Bosnia in 1997. I won't be going into any more detail than that. I'm not here to give my life story. I was peacekeeping there, which means driving around in mud, eating cold rations, and just pretending that we're doing something. I mean, the war was already finished. There wasn't much for us to do. It's around November time. Everything is wet and my boots have not been dry in weeks. One of the people in my troop, K, he's got trench foot almost. H keeps asking me if the mines are still active around here. The CO calls us in. He says there is a village off the grid. There is no radio and no runners and nothing for 3 days. He says it's probably just because of a busted antenna, but that we gotta go and check it out and make sure that everything is okay. Me, K, H in a Humvee that smells like diesel and socks head out there. The road is a complete disaster. There are potholes everywhere. The mud is making it difficult to keep traction on the wheels. There are old minefield signs with skulls on them. K is driving. He just keeps muttering about bad juju and how he's seen stuff like this before, how he's heard about stuff like this. H is quiet, staring out the window like he's gonna see a sniper in the trees. I'm just trying not to think about how much I have to piss. It takes us about an hour to go 10 clicks. This fog rolls in. It's thick and almost kinda yellowish. Our headlights barely cut through it. We finally see the village. There are maybe a dozen houses or so, a church, and everything looks abandoned. There's no smoke or any people that we can see, no signs of life, just the sound of the engine ticking as we park up. We get out. My boots sink into mud up to my laces. The church doors are open. They are just swinging in the wind. K says he will check out the houses. H sticks with him. I go for the church, flashlight in one hand, pistol in the other. Inside the church is actually colder than the outside. The pews are empty, but there is a pile of clothes on the altar. They are just neatly folded up. I'm talking shirts, pants, even boots, all just stacked up in a pile. There's a watch on top of this pile. It's still just ticking. The watch isn't bad either. It looks antique, like it's a family heirloom passed down from father to son. It smells really damp and wet in here, like wet stone, and I can smell something sweet, almost like fruit but rotting. I shine my light around. I spot a Bible that has been left on the floor with pages torn out of it. The cover is all scratched up. That's not normal. There's something on the wall behind the altar. It looks like writing that has been etched into the wall with something metal and sharp, but I can't read it. I can't speak Bosnian. It's just lines that are deep and jagged. I get this weird feeling. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing on end. It feels like I'm being watched. The hair stands up on my arms now too. I can only hear my own breathing in this place. Everything just echoes. I step outside and call out for K and H. There is no answer from them. They probably just can't hear me. It's so hard to hear out here. When you speak, your voice doesn't even travel. The fog is thicker now. I can barely see the Humvee. I start walking toward the houses. My boots are almost being pulled off with how thick this mud is and how they're sucking them in. I see K's flashlight flicker in a window. I run over and bang on the door. He opens it up. His face is really pale. He just tells me, "You gotta see this." Inside is almost the same thing as the church. There are clothes in piles, shoes lined up, even a kid's backpack with cartoon stickers. There is no people, no trace of them, just clothes stacked up and empty rooms. H is in the corner, staring at a table. There is a loaf of bread that is half eaten and a cup of tea that has gone cold. It looks like someone just stepped out for a smoke and never came back, just up and vanished. But for some reason they took off their clothes and folded them first. K says he found a radio in the house, but it's dead. There are no tracks outside. There's no sign that vehicles have come and gone through here. H keeps looking at the window. He says he saw something move in the fog, just faintly. I tell him it's probably just a dog, but even I don't really believe that. We split up to check the rest of the houses. I take the one at the end of the lane. It's the stone place with a busted window. Again, inside, just like the church, it's colder than the outside. There are clothes on the table. There's a pot on the stove that is still warm. I shine my light on the wall and I see more of those scratches. I suddenly feel really dizzy, like the room is spinning. I hear something outside, footsteps in mud. I call out but I get no answer. It must just be one of the guys moving to and from houses. I step out onto the porch. The fog is so thick I cannot even see my own hand. I hear that humming. It's just low and steady. It sounds like a generator or maybe even a swarm of bees. It's coming from the church. I start walking. Every step feels heavier and heavier. I see a shape in the fog, just like H said he did. It looks tall and thin, but it's not moving. I can only just barely make out the shape of it. I freeze. My heart is pounding. I try to call for Kay, but my voice comes out in a whisper. The shape turns or moves or shifts, I can't really tell. I can't see a face. I can't make out anything that specific at all. The humming gets louder and louder. I almost feel like I can hear it inside my own head by now, but I don't know if that was just my imagination. Maybe I just had a headache. My flashlight starts flickering. I think the batteries are dying. I take a step back, but I'm not looking properly, so I trip over something in the mud. I look down and see a handprint in the mud, but it's too big for any normal person to make. The mud is cold and freezing. It soaks through my pants and now they're wet. I can't move at all. I hear these footsteps coming up behind me, but they're not running. They're really slow and heavy. I try to get up, but my legs will not work. The humming is all I can hear now. It's drowning out everything else. I'm holding on to my ears, but it's not making a difference. I start scrambling to my feet, but again, it takes me a while to get up. My legs are just aching now. I can feel this aching in my teeth too. My flashlight is just barely working, but not like it really makes a difference. The fog is so thick, it doesn't cut through anything. I'm getting this feeling on the back of my neck like something is staring at me, burning a hole into it. I look over my shoulder, but I can't see anything there, but I can hear those footsteps again. They sound like they are circling around me, but I can't make out who or what is making them. I try to yell for Kay, but I get no answer. I take a look at that handprint again, now that my flashlight is actually doing something. The fingers on the handprint are long, almost claw-like. I try not to freak out. I suddenly hear something scrape across the wall, near the church. It sounds like metal on stone. The humming stops for a second, but then comes back even louder. I feel like my head is splitting open. I see another shape in the fog, but this one is closer this time. It's tall and thin again. It's not moving or walking like a person. I can't see a face. It's standing by the church door, almost blending into the shadows. I pull out my pistol. My hands are shaking so bad I almost drop it. It's like I've forgotten all of my training in that moment. I yell out a warning. I warn whoever it is not to come any closer, that I am armed and that I will shoot. I don't want to shoot. I don't want to find out what happens if I do. I suddenly hear Kay yelling from somewhere in the village. He sounds panicked. His voice is cracking. The shape by the church door suddenly starts moving. It gets low to the ground, it looks like. The humming fades. The fog starts to move. The fog is almost swirling around the shape. I stumble back and nearly fall down into the mud again. I try to get my bearings, but again, I can't see anything but fog and shadows. Kay's voice gets closer. It's getting closer to me really fast. It's like he's running. I suddenly see his flashlight bouncing up through the mist. He grabs my arm and pulls me. His face is pale and his eyes are wide, and he tells me that we need to go. I ask where Hitch is, and Kay just shakes his head. He says he saw something in one of the houses, something he can't explain. He won't elaborate any further. He just keeps pulling me towards the Humvee. Every sound is muffled, even our own footsteps. I keep glancing back at the church, half expecting that shape to move again and come after us, but nothing moves. We get to the Humvee. The doors are unlocked. Hitch is inside already, curled up in the passenger seat. He is shaking. He is squeezing his eyes shut. He's muttering about something, but he's not really making any sense. Kay tries to start the engine, but it just clicks some worse. It like starts up and then fails. Seems like the battery is dead or maybe something else. I am sweating. The sweat is just pouring down my face even though it's freezing outside. We sit there for a minute, all screaming at each other, trying to figure out what to do about what's going on with the vehicle. There is fog pressing against the windows. I can barely see the church anymore. H just keeps muttering. I think he's saying a prayer in his own language. Kay's hands are shaking on the steering wheel. I keep staring at the scratches on my boots. Then, all of a sudden, something thumps against the roof. All three of us freeze. There is another thump, heavier this time. Kay whispers, tells us to shut up and to not move. H is sobbing, but he's holding his own mouth to try and stop himself. I'm just gripping my pistol. I'm gripping it so tightly, my hands and fingers are ghostly white. I'm trying to steady my breathing. Then this thump comes again, really loudly. Then we hear some kind of scraping along the top of the vehicle. It sounds like nails or I don't know, just going all over them, all across the top, down to the back. Kay reaches for the door while he's holding his pistol, but I grab his arm to stop him. That humming that was in the church, it starts up again, louder than before, only this time, it's vibrating throughout the whole Humvee. Like, the doors are rattling, everything is shaking, it feels like we are being shaken up and down. And then another thump comes, but this time, it sounds like it's coming from underneath us, underneath the vehicle. H starts screaming. He says he saw something move past the window. I look. I just catch a glimpse of something tall and thin, sliding through the fog. I can't see a face, just like before. I can't make out any specific details, just the vague shape. Kay is trying the engine again, but still nothing. And this, the sound of this engine starting and failing, it makes things, I don't know, get worse. I yell for H to shut the hell up, that I can't even hear myself think, but he won't. The radio is still just static when I try it again. Outside, the fog starts to glow like this pale yellow again. It's like someone has turned on a light behind it, a really bright one. There are now multiple shapes moving in the mist, too many to count. The fog outside is literally glowing. There is a glow around these shapes too. One of the shapes comes closer and actually presses up against the window. The glass fogs up and I can make out just these faint details. I see these eyes, these bloodshot eyes, but the whites, they're not there. It's just empty, black where the whites of the eyes should be. The thing's hand slides down the window, and it leaves a smear of what looks like oil, of something oily, maybe mixed with blood. It's a mixture of this thick oil and something red. It makes this noise, just this wet and clicking noise. It puts its hand on the glass again, and it looks like the window is starting to bend inward. It looks like this thing is bending the glass with so much force with just the palm of its hand. Kay yells at me to shoot. My hands are shaking, but I finally manage to pull the trigger. My gun goes off. The glass spiderwebs, but it does not break. The thing doesn't even move, it just keeps staring. The other shape starts circling the Humvee, and I saw one crawl up the window and over onto the top. It was like crawling on all fours. It was moving like some kind of insect. I just saw the faint shadows of it move up over the window and then onto the top of the vehicle. It was so weird. I can hear the roof creaking. H is sobbing again. I fire my gun again, and this time the bullet goes through the glass, but it hits nothing. But the humming does stop. Then every window just goes black. There is no fog anymore, it's just darkness. I can't see anything. And then all of a sudden I just see this black silhouette shape reach into the window and down, and it grabs my ankle. I look down and see a hand. The fingers are insanely long. It's so cold on my ankle. My ankle starts to go numb. I can barely even feel it anymore. And it's like digging its nails or whatever into me. Something is digging into my ankle, and now it is completely numb. I try to kick it off, but I can't get it off me. It starts pulling me. It's trying to pull me out of the vehicle. Kay is now grabbing onto my arms. He's trying to stop me from going outside the vehicle. It's like I'm being used as a rope in a tug of war. I pull up my gun and shoot the shape, and it just turns into nothing. It just disappears, and it drops my legs. The vehicle finally stops sputtering, and we are able to get the engine to start. And we just fly the hell out of there. We did not wait even a second. We did not even dare to look at what was happening behind us. Nobody even said a word. We just drove all the way straight back. When we gave our reports, we mentioned that villagers were missing, that something had gone wrong there, but we did not mention the shapes. We just mentioned that the fog was too strong, that we couldn't really investigate properly, and RCO told us that he would be escalating the situation and sending it higher up. And then I don't know what happened from there. He just said that it would be handled and that we were not to worry about it anymore. And I kind of don't really have an explanation after that. I don't know if he did even send anyone there. I don't know what happened to the people there. I did not get a word about it spoken to me after that. It was just information that was not for me, I guess. I still don't understand what happened. I don't know if we imagined it, if the fog made us see things, but I know I did not imagine something gripping my leg. I know. I felt it. I know that part at least was real. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. Although I've had some odd experiences that probably could be considered paranormal if I wasn't so skeptical, I did have one particularly odd experience about 3 years ago. It's August, and I'm a bored college student in his first year. I'm hanging out with one of my female friends who I was recently reconnected with. She was gonna spend the night. We get it inside our stoned heads that the best idea is to drive an hour and a half away at 1 in the morning to the site of an abandoned mental asylum in Illinois that was just south of Chicago. Screw it. I knew it would be a bad idea because I get easily spooked when high, but I said why not. Most of the drive is fine, just the usual stone conversation about random bullshit. Finally, we get off the highway and end up driving for about 25 minutes straight through what felt like an endless amount of cornfields. It was dark as hell, and there were no streetlights to guide us on this gravel road leading into the middle of nowhere. I'm a bit spooked as we near the end of those 25 minutes, but I laugh it off to the nerves. Finally, we arrive in the town and begin driving around and trying to find the mental asylum. It's supposed to be one of the first buildings that we'd see, but we cannot find it anywhere. I check my phone again and see that it is getting close to 3 a.m. This should not have been a big deal, but as we were driving around, I started to notice something really odd about the town. At 3 a.m., almost 80% of the lights were still on. House lights, church lights, store lights, gas station lights, street lights, everything. To make it even stranger, there was not a single person visible in any of the stores or windows, despite having cars still parked in all of the stores. Now, this was a small town nestled in the cornfields, but it was just big enough to be a little bit unsettling. My friend is legitimately unsettled at all of this and asked for me to drive us back. I agree, but spot something even stranger that I should have noticed earlier. A little over half of the houses have their Halloween decorations already set up in early August. There are lit jack-o'-lanterns, orange porch lights, and spiderwebs on the bushes. I am starting to get really uncomfortable now. I really need to take a piss though, so I drive off to a part almost to the edge of town and get out right next to a cornfield. During that entire time I took a piss, it was dead silent. There was no life, no wind, no noise from absolutely anywhere in the town at all. I also had the most disturbing feeling, as if I could get rushed by something from the cornfield at any moment. I got the hell back in that car and sped my ass all the way back onto the highway, never once looking back. I'm not sure if some of that was just stone paranoia, but it was certainly unsettling as hell. It felt like some weird cross between Haddonfield and that town from Children of the Corn. I might go back if I get enough college buddies, but I almost feel like if I go back, the town will seem normal or something. The whole thing was just really, really surreal. I was about 18 years old when this happened to me, so 10 years ago. I was bored as shit hanging out with a friend. We decided to go for a drive. We live in a rural town, so there is hundreds of dirt roads around the place for us to explore. We had probably been driving for around an hour in his ute all over the place. We head out to one of the mountain roads. It's a really windy one with dozens of hairpins. The road is so long, we are probably driving on it for 20 to 30 minutes before deciding that it's boring and turning around. Not 30 seconds after heading back, an old beat up piece of shit comes screaming up from behind us. To me it looked like this picture. Probably not this model or make, but it was definitely an old pickup like that. I was thinking of my dad's old Dodge tow truck at the time. We are cocky young blokes, so my friend hits the gas. We are sliding out on every corner, absolutely flying down the mountain. This guy cannot be shaken. He keeps up, easy as you please. It takes all of 10 minutes to get back down to the bottom. As soon as we hit flat road and get past the tree line, this guy stops, turns around, and heads back up the mountain. The hills have eyes, kids. Be me, around 2 years old. My father works for the Air Force of Colombia, and we have to live in a shitty house in the middle of the Amazonas. They cut the energy from 11 p.m. to 6 p.m. every day, because we only have 2 power plants for like 6 houses. It's dark AF, and weird animal noises every night. It's like 2 a.m. Me and my mom are sleeping. Dad is not here. He's on a Lockheed C-130, about 40,000 feet above us. Someone knocks on the window. My mom freaks out since no one was allowed to walk out of the houses in the night. Soldiers are guarding all night, so they would stop people. The knocking intensifies. My mom asks, "What do you want?" Someone responds with a deep voice, "Just me. Here I am." My mom asks again, "Who are you?" Same response. It starts smelling like pure shit. My mom starts praying. I apparently woke up and started crying for no reason. My mom calms me, and we both go back to sleep. That was all from my mom. That's how I know how that happened. Okay, first of all, I gotta say that this was in 1996, when everything here in Colombia was screwed up, and there were like 3 guerrilla camps 3 miles away, so the surveillance was quite strong. Wake up the next day. Dad arrives at 7 a.m. and tells us that we have to move to a building that was on the other side of the base. It was bigger, and we had a kitchen. My mom tells my dad about what happened on the night, and he tells us it was probably some asshole soldier making fun of her. We start packing stuff and prepare for moving the next day. Nothing happens that night. The soldiers pick up our things first hour in the morning. We get there. It was an individual 4-floor building with its own power plant. Mom was happy. Our apartment was on the 3rd floor. Dad has to fly again all that night. Me and my mom are sharing a bed. It's 3 a.m. Someone is knocking the door. My mom wakes up, thinking it's my dad. She goes to the door and asks, "Who's there?" The deep voice answers, "Just me. Here I am." My mom tells him to get the hell out of here and goes back to bed. The knocking on the bedroom window starts up again. Mom starts yelling and wakes me up. I start crying, and a guttural scream shuts up my mom. There is some shooting on the outside. My mom starts crying and takes me to the kitchen. My mom is shaking, and we are both screaming and crying. Someone opens up the door. It's just a soldier. He tells us to go outside and takes us to the place where the soldier slept. Nothing more happened that night. Again, there's more. Same shit. The next day, my mom goes to the church and tells the story to the deacon. The deacon tells her he would visit us in the afternoon. Me and my mom meet with my dad at the apartment, and he tells us he asked for a few days off so he could stay with us. Everyone at the base is freaked out, talking about what happened. The deacon arrives after lunch and starts to spray holy water on the house. Father is still skeptical about all of that. Nothing more happened for a week. Father has to fly again in the night, but manages to change his turn so he could return home earlier. I have tonsillitis, and my mom can't sleep very well. Around 3 a.m., everything is fine. We are both sleeping. 4 a.m., Some loud-ass noise in the front door wakes us both up. Father rushes to the room and hugs both of us. He tells us he had been knocking on the door for 40 minutes straight and no one answered. He then tells us he suddenly heard a knock response from the other side of the door. He says, "Honey, open the door, I'm very tired." The deep voice answers him, "Just me, here I am." Then he kicked the door down and rushed to us. A few weeks later, he asked for a transfer and we move out to the city. This next one happened December last year. I was 17 years old working in a restaurant because I wanted to make some money and buy a new computer. I worked 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. straight. The restaurant is 5 streets away from my house. I finished my second day of work. I am tired as hell and walk back to my house. Everyone is sleeping. I try to enter my room but it's locked. I am so damn tired. I grab a pad from my little brother's room and decide to sleep next to his bed. After 10 minutes go by, I cannot manage to fall asleep. I notice a weird ass silhouette right next to my brother's bed. I try to get up, but as soon as I move, that shit goes underneath the bed. What the hell? I can't move. I am fear paralyzed and almost hyperventilating. I say, "I order you to introduce yourself." I'd always seen it in movies and stuff. I really thought it would work, but I'm actually just really stupid. I get no answers. 15 minutes later, I calm myself down and sleep on the couch. The next day I arrive at work at 9 a.m., tired as hell. I worked until 5 p.m. My boss says I should sleep for an hour or two upstairs, where the employees stored our stuff during the work shift. I wake up, it's 9 p.m. I'm so screwed. I get downstairs and get back to work. My shift finishes. I've got to clean tables and take inventory. I finished at like 4:30 a.m. because there were like 1,000 things for me to count. I walk to my house. My feet hurt really badly. I'm almost crying. I get to my room. I get under the blankets with my dirty jeans and stuff on. It's like 0 degrees outside. I can't sleep. I see the same shit standing in front of my wardrobe. I am shaking. I feel like vomiting, and that shit stares at me. Why is this happening to me? I managed to move my lips to articulate a sentence. I was going to say the same stupid shit as the previous day, but my wardrobe door closes instantly, and that shit disappears. I am in the bathroom for the rest of the night vomiting and watching some soccer compilations to calm me down. The next day, my dad shows to the restaurant and tells the manager I am sick. On the night I go there and tell him I'm quitting. I went to visit my mom in another city and everything calmed down after that. This isn't my spookiest story, but I'm lazy and this is the easiest one to type out. I was around 16 years old when this happened to me. I had just come home from hanging out with my friends at around 2 a.m. I go to bed and lie down facing away from the door. I am still not asleep. I am not even really tired. I just want to get to sleep somewhat early so I can get a good start on the next day. I get this really spooky feeling. I roll over so I'm now facing the door. My eyes are wide open. The doorknob turns and the door opens to just a crack, about 2 inches or so. I sit up in bed, thinking my mom is checking in on me. I say, "Mom?" but there's no answer. I get up and walk towards the door. When I get halfway between my bed and the door slams shut, as much as a door only 2 inches open can slam anyway. I am now even more spooked. I flip the light switch on before going through the house. My mom and everyone else in the house is dead asleep. Fast forward to last year. I am married with 2 toddlers now. I'm laying in bed but I'm not tired, but I really need to go to bed because I've got to get up early for work. I see the doorknob to my bedroom start turning like a clumsy child that has not quite figured out how to open up a door and is trying to open it. I assume it's one of my kids. My face went. I realize both of my kids are in bed with me and my wife because they were scared of sleeping in their room. At the exact moment that I realize this, the door swings open all the way. Nothing is there when it's open. I get up, take a leak, grab some holy water, douse my room, pray to St. Michael, and then go to bed. My wife tells me the next day she thought I got up to check out the footsteps. She claims that she heard footsteps before the door opened. Before this, she thought all of the spooky stuff I was telling her was just me becoming more and more unhinged. My face went. She tells her family about this, and they give her the same patronizing crap she used to give me.